Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be, I caught her with another man. Well, obviously that probably didn't end very well. I got an email here from a guy who actually, it looks like on multiple occasions, he's busted his girlfriend with another dude. But before we get into it, I want to read a quote to you. And it says, when you realize that your lover is a devious liar or a shameless cheater, the only self-respecting and self-loving thing you can do is to walk and never look back. That is a relationship that is irretrievably broken and can never work. Why? It's impossible to have a loving and healthy relationship with someone who feels no remorse or guilt for lying and cheating. Continuing to stay with them or give them another chance only communicates your acceptance of their behavior and encourages them to do more of it. If you stay, you are simply inviting them to do it to you again and again. That's definitely something to think about. So let's go ahead and get into this guy's email. He says, hey coach, I need your advice on this subject. A week ago, my whole relationship just started to fail. I would say more than likely it was starting to fail way before then. You just didn't know what to look for like most guys do. It kind of hits you out of the blue. He says, on this day, my ex lied to me about going to her dad's house and instead spent all day at another man's house. The next day, on Monday, we went to work when we both work at the mall, and after we clocked out of work, we had an argument. We arrived home, and she decided it was best for her to sleep at her mom's house for the night. I let her go. The next day, Tuesday, I see her at work and approach her to apologize for the arguing, and she acted cold. We clock out that day, and on our way home, she begins to explain how she feels we should just be friends and how she feels she's been moving on for the past month. You notice how that just kind of comes out? So listen to what she says. And how she feels she's been moving on for the past month. In other words, a month ago, in her mind, screwing around on you, lining up a replacement, became acceptable to her. And that's what she's really admitting, that she's been deceiving you for the whole past 30 days. So it's not something that just started happening this past week, which you mentioned initially in your email. And you got to learn to read between the lines, between the things that women say, because what she's doing here, she's trying to soften the blow of what's really going on instead of telling you that, well, there's another guy I've lined up, and now that things are looking up with him, it's time for me to bolt. They're not going to say things like that. He says, I naturally began to try to reason with her about not breaking up, but no success. Yeah, because women are emotional beings, and when you try to use logic and reason, it's not going to work. He said, because when women feel an emotional bond, when they feel in love with you, that's when they want to be in a relationship and they want to be exclusive with you. But at this point, she obviously, at some point in the past, whether it was a month or maybe even longer ago, she started to lose that emotional bond, that connection that she felt for you. And because she wasn't getting from you what she obviously was getting in the beginning, then she starts looking for men or being open to men outside of your relationship, doing the things that you used to do. And just like the email newsletter that I did yesterday, it's the same kind of situation. She's lining up your replacement, and meanwhile you think, well, you're maybe going through a little bit of a rough patch and things aren't as good as they once were, but you never expect that she's lining up another dude behind your back. He says, we arrive home and she showers, dresses up very nicely, short skirt, new panties, and bra bought from Victoria's Secret. That is definitely a sign that she's getting all gussied up for not you, but some other dude. And then she says she's going to her mom's house again. Yeah, sure. He says, I became suspicious, and after 20 minutes, I went to her mom's house around 12 a.m. to find her car was not there. What a surprise. He says her mom said she hasn't been there in days. But wait, hasn't she said she's been in her mom and dad's house a lot? He says she was lying. Duh. I found out the address as to where she was, and I went there, and it turns out she was at this guy's house for the past 3 days. He says she was upset, and I caught her on her lie, and she kicked me out of the apartment, and left angry and crying because I was hurt. That sucks, dude. That's not a fun way to find out that your relationship is in doubt. But having had experience with women in my past who would lie and deceive and do the same kind of thing, it's when you realize that shit's going on to you. You don't want to believe that it's happening. You're just like, no, I can't. Come on, I'm different than that guy that she was with before me. But it's just indicative. I saw a YouTube comment on the video that I did yesterday, and a guy was making a comment basically along the lines that I guess one of his ex-girlfriends who did this to him, and that's how he met her. And so when things started going sideways, she started doing the same thing. And so he's, I guess, kind of checks up on her on Facebook. And he says even to this day, years later, she's still doing the same kind of shit. And those are the actions of a woman who's insecure. In other words, she can't tolerate the thought of being single and being on her own and dealing with the pain of a breakup. So she lines up another guy, so it's a lot easier. Because women instinctively know that it's a lot easier to get over someone if you get back on the horse and start dating again as quick as possible. He says, she would not listen to anything I had to say. It's like, yeah, dude, she is like that. There's an Eagles song, I'm already gone. I mean, she's fucking long gone, dude. Emotionally, mentally, spiritually, she's been long gone. It's just now the physical part is starting to catch up to it. He says, I went back to the apartment a few hours later only to find her in bed having sex with the guy. Oh, that's nice. So in her mind, well, hey, she's let you know that she only wants to be friends and it's over. So now it's okay to have this dude that she was already probably hanging out with come over and fuck her in your bed. He says, I was devastated and told her how could she do something like that? And here's her response. She claimed that she never had sex with him until after she broke up with me. Yeah. Maybe sex without a condom? I mean, it's just amazing how some women will bullshit and sugarcoat things. But, I mean, obviously the facts are the facts. I mean, she's in your house and you caught her at this other dude's house. He says, how am I supposed to believe she never cheated when she obviously had this guy on the side waiting? Exactly, you shouldn't believe a word she says because she's obviously a liar. He says, I did all the bad things a guy can do. I begged, I humiliated myself and cried to get her back after all of this. It's like, dude, it's like, you don't want, I know you want this girl back, but you really don't, because this is indicative of the kind of woman that you're dealing with. And you can't have a healthy relationship with a woman like that, because if there's a problem, if there's an issue, she's not going to bring it up and communicate with you in an adult manner. She's just going to give up and say, well, you know, he's a dumbass for not figuring it out, so let me just go line somebody else up. He said she did not want me back, and even when we talked, I asked her if he makes her happy, and she responded, it's not that type of situation. So in other words, he's her rebound. He's helping her with her grief therapy for your breakup. He says, so she left me for just a bit of fun. Hey, girls just want to have fun, like the old Cyndi Lauper song, right? He says, and also, she said that I need to work on myself for my own good and get something going for me. That was probably the only honest thing that she had to say. He says, I tried to part ways, understanding, but the emotions took over and the unanswered questions, and I went back the last time before she had me arrested, and I peeked through what was my apartment once and saw her giving head to this guy. I immediately lost it and went in and told her how could she have gotten this low. She did not look at me. Maybe she was embarrassed as she cleaned herself and reached for the phone and called the cops. And then you stayed there. And the only reason you got taken to jail is obviously you probably put your hands on her or touched her, and that's a no-no. The cops will take you to jail when you fucking do stupid shit like that. You never should fucking touch a woman, dude, even when she's a jackass like this, because you're always going to lose. He says, after all this, I still find it hard to rip her out of my chest. I loved her and still do for some reason, and she just didn't care about anything. Well, she may have at one point, but that was a long time ago, and yeah, now she doesn't. And it's because you didn't know what to look for. I mean, that's the bottom line. What's really going on here is you have a knowledge gap. You have a knowledge gap in your dating and your relationship game that you can fill in by reading my book. And if you don't have a copy, you can go to my website. On the right-hand side, underneath the email sign-up box, there's a box that'll take you right to the Amazon Kindle version of it. If you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever device you want to read it on. But I highly recommend that you read that and fill in the gaps, because once you do, you're gonna start to see all the little light bulbs going off in your head, and you go, oh, now I see. Because you'll even start to realize some of the things that she probably said to you months ago when she was complaining about things in your relationship, and you didn't really know what the meaning of it was. And it'll really become clear to you, because if you don't learn this stuff, if you don't fill in your knowledge gap, the next relationship is going to end for the same reasons. Now, it doesn't mean that the next girl is going to do exactly what this girl did, because this girl obviously has no fucking integrity at all, but it'll end for the same reason. So if I was to talk to this girl and all of your ex-girlfriends, they would all tell me basically the same reasons why they dumped you or broke up with you in the first place. He says, is there anything I can do? Yeah, run like fucking hell. Just be glad that it's over and move on and never look back, because this is not the kind of person that you want in your life, because that's just the way they are. People don't change. They may become a better version of themselves, but at the end of the day, a devious, lying cheater is always going to be a devious, lying cheater. When things are not looking good for her and what she wants, she has no problem going behind your back and deceiving you. You can't raise a family with a girl like that. You can't feel comfortable in a relationship with a woman like that. You never, and at the end of the day, even if you got back together with her, you're never going to fucking trust her. It's like, because once they prove to you that they will deceive you and lie to you and be devious, you realize that no, even though you thought you'd be different than the last guy, it's just not going to happen. I'm sorry, but that's just the way it is. He said, should I work out, learn a new skill, and better myself so in the future she can see me as the man that she let go? Fuck her, dude. What you need to do is you need to take care of yourself, and absolutely work out, take better care of yourself, focus on your purpose, your mission in life, become a better man, become a guy who is a catch and who perceives him as a catch by becoming the best version of yourself that you can become. Create a life and lifestyle that's filled up with the kind of people and the kind of activities that you really want to do and that you've always wanted to do. Because the more you can spend the moments of your life doing the kinds of things that you really want with the kind of people you want, the happier you're going to be. And the more you're going to attract people who are like-minded into your life. But if you don't change anything about yourself, you still kind of hang out in the same peer group, and you don't really work on improving yourself, you're going to attract the same kind of low-quality woman into your life. And as the saying goes, if you keep doing what you've always done, you'll continue to get what you've always got. He says, and then one last thing he says, this guy admitted to me in front of her that he does not want anything serious with her. So he's just using her and she's going with it. It hurts. What should I do? Let it go, chalk it up to experience, delete this girl from your cell phone, pack your shit and move the fuck out of the apartment and never talk to her again. Even if she reaches out to you, I'd say, look, I don't want anything to do with you. You're not an honorable person, and I don't want that kind of person in my life. I don't want anything to do with you. And I know it hurts when you really care about a girl and you're really attracted to her. But at the end of the day, this is the way they are, and it's tough to let those situations go. But at the end of the day, it's just not healthy. You deserve to have a woman who's crazy about you for you, who admires you, who looks up to you, who's a good communicator. But you got to become the kind of person that you want to attract by focusing on yourself, by focusing on your goals and your dreams, and creating a life that's really emotionally compelling to you, the kind of thing that will get you up early in the morning and keep you up late at night because you're so excited about it. So if you'd like to figure out how to do that, or where to go in the next chapter of your life, or a career change, or figure out what your purpose is or your mission in life, go to my website, click the products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and follow the instructions for booking a paid phone coaching session with yours truly. And I will talk to you soon.